Welcome to the WRAL Daily Download. I'm your host, Amanda Lamb. Fewer than half of the students in North Carolina in grades 3 through 8 are reading at or above their grade levels. This is a 10% drop from pre-pandemic scores. What if they could be taught to read faster and still understand what they're reading? What if we all could? In this episode, Five on Your Side producer Pritchard Strong shares his team's investigation into a new trend called Bionic reading, which aims to help struggling readers read faster, comprehend better, and stay focused. But does it work? Pritchard, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So I told you when we were first chatting about this program, before today, that when I was growing up, there was something called the Evelyn Wood Speed Reading Program. It was very popular in the 1970s. Wood claimed she could read 2,700 words per minute. She created classes all over the country to teach people her technique. It was later widely debunked by a lot of experts. So I'm really curious about this bionic reading. So first of all, if you could just explain it to us, what is the premise and how does it work?
Yeah, so this is less about an actual studying research or learning something and more about the way that the text is presented. And what bionic reading does is it bolds the first part of words, and what that's supposed to do is kind of create artificial focal points, which kind of guide your eyes through that text. So every word is partially bold, and it gives you kind of a flow and is supposed to help you move through that text, comprehend it. Your brain kind of fills in some of the gaps, and you just kind of are supposed to be able to fly through it quicker. Comprehension, some people say, is better, and it really has just helped certain people read better, smoother, more comprehensively.
It makes me think when I do a speech, for example, I may write it out or write out, main points, and then I go back and highlight things that I want to hit and that are kind of the bullet points, if you will, of the speech. But I still have those other words around it just in case I need to refer to them. So there are some apps that you can download, and they convert just regular text into bionic text. Explain that.
Yeah, so apps and browser extensions. So, you can download this on your phone, Bionic Reading. There are several different types of apps and extensions that convert text. We messed around with a few of them. One that worked best was called Jiffy Reader, and that worked great on the Chrome extension. It's really easy. It's a couple of clicks. You just download it from the Chrome extension store. It goes onto your browser. You can pin it right up there next to the URL, and if there's something that you need to read through that's on a web page, whatever, you can just click this extension, and it'll convert all the text on the screen to bionic text, and it's customizable. You can change kind of the look and feel of it and
For the individual.
Yeah, figure out what works for you.
So we will be right back after the break, and we're going to talk about how Five on Your Side put the bionic reading apps to the test. Welcome back to the WRAL Daily Download. Okay, so you enlisted 3 students to look at this. Tell me how you set this up.
So we got 3 students, different age groups, different reading and grade levels, from elementary all the way through rising freshmen in high school. And we went to the Wake County Public Library online, downloaded some ebooks that were age and grade level appropriate. And what we did is we just took the first page of a chapter of one of these books. We had it in standard text, and then we converted it to bionic text. And we had the students read each version of that to see if it was helpful, if they liked it, if it actually led to them reading faster, to see what this was all about and if there's any truth to it.
So first of all, I know you learned a couple things, but what did you learn about the reading speed in the times of the bionic reading compared to the standard text?
So in the test that we did with these 3 students, everybody read faster the second time. And that obviously is in part because, they read it once already and then they read it in bionic text. But what we actually did for the high school student was we flipped it. So we had them read in bionic first and then had them read in standard. And they got faster the second time when they were reading in standard and preferred it in standard text as opposed to bionic. So again, everybody got faster reading it the second time, but it didn't matter what the text was.
So it sounds like, I mean, obviously, a lot of us go back to read something again to process it. And it makes sense that you would read it faster the second time. So it's kind of hard to say, was it the Bionic text app or was it just the fact that they had already comprehended a lot of it the first time, so it felt more comfortable?
It was. And so we actually went to NC State and tried this on a few NC State students that were coming back to class. And we just gave them the Bionic text and we had them read it and just tell us how they felt about it. We didn't time them. But all three that we spoke to were impressed and surprised by it. They felt like they were reading through it faster. It felt like it was easier to comprehend. They all seemed to really like it.
And it seems like this is something that could be used in certain applications. For example, something that's maybe very technical and complicated, and you really need some help guiding you through that. Something related to work or something related to school, something academic that, again, may be heavy-handed and complex. Certainly you wouldn't want to use this if you're reading a novel because hopefully you're doing that for enjoyment.
Right.
But for something that's more work-related or school-related, I guess.
Yeah, it's, if you have to study long hours, if this is something that you use and find helpful, it could be a help concentrating or something along those lines. If you have to read court briefs or documents or things like that we do here at WRAL, it can be helpful in that respect to kind of stay focused when there's just a lot of flat text on the page and maybe it's a difficult read.
So the proof is in the pudding. Is there any research at this point proving that this works?
There's some research out there. There's not a lot, but there is some. One of the ones that we looked at was 2,000 people that did this Bionic test, something similar. And the researchers really found that there wasn't any increase in speed in reading and using Bionic text. It's hard to say at this point if this really does work, but I think what I kind of took away from it is if people feel like it's working, if it feels like it's helping you,
why not try it?
Why not try it?
Yeah, that makes sense. And do you think this is something schools are going to be looking at?
That's tough to say. It would be hard to adopt system-wide or classroom-wide even because some people really like this. They really like the way that it helps them. We've seen some comment that this really helps people with dyslexia and people who maybe have ADHD kind of focus and get through,
so
different type of readings.
Probably need more time, probably needs more research to figure out if this is something that would be really helpful to people.
Seems like an individual fit more than a broad fit.
Understood. Well, thank you so much. This was so interesting, and I really appreciate you taking the time to break this down for us. For more news from WRAL, sign up for the WRAL Morning Briefing newsletter. You'll be informed and ready to face the day with one concise email. Sign up at WRAL.com/newsletter. As always, thanks for listening to the WRAL Daily Download.